All right, thanks folks for joining us again on a V2VG video podcast. And today's a little bit different. We got Everin joining us as our producer for the first time, and I have no idea what we're talking about, so I'm going into this blind.
That's kind of how we run the organization. We have no idea what
we don't know what we're doing. I come into every day, I come into the office blind.
So we've been talking about getting back into the YouTube videos for a little while, probably last year and a half, 2 years.
2 years.
But hey, what time is better than now? And we do want to try and stay away from the political aspect of things, but as two combat veterans, a topic that is coming up quite a bit is Iran.
Yeah, we have struck, what do they call it, the Republic of Iran? Whatever, Iran. We struck them 3-4 days ago or whatever?
Yep.
Us in Israel.
Well, we did the nuclear strike, right? So we did the strike on the nuclear facilities.
Yeah.
And then there was some negotiations as far as the missile capabilities that it looks like Iran kind of was back and forth with. And that's kind of what led to this aspect.
And they struck out against us and against their Arab partners.
Which is interesting, right? You would think, you would want to keep those people on your side.
You would think. And they lashed out and they lobbed a missile and struck a Navy base and killed 6 sailors, reservist sailors.
Yeah.
So far, there's been no other U.S. casualties. Interestingly, one of our submarines sunk via torpedo an Iranian vessel, which was the first time that a U.S. submarine officially sank a enemy vessel at sea underway since World War II, I read.
Which World War II, we had huge numbers as far as... But we also turned the Iranian Navy into a fleet of submarines, so that's nice.
So that was nice of us to do that.
So we're both...
Veteran dark humor. So.
we're both products of the 20-year war in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah, the global war on terror, so-called. Yeah.
So I've heard, the big talking point for everybody is we don't want to be in another never-ending war in the Middle East. I agree completely.
Right. I agree completely, too.
If you were to put a cap, okay, now we really need to start looking at this as being more than just what the powers are to be are saying, what would be a good time frame, you think?
For our involvement over in Iran? Like military involvement?
Just boots on the ground.
If we put boots on the ground?
Yeah.
Oh, first, let me preface this by saying I think if we put boots on the ground in Iran, it's a mistake. Who am I? I'm just a nobody. But first of all, I think if we put boots on the ground in Iran, it's a mistake. Significant boots on the ground, like Army and Marine boots, which is, but to answer your question, I think 6 months max.
Now, I've heard the argument for 3 months.
Okay, that would be better.
I can understand. We have the military power to, and we saw this actually in the first Iraq War, Desert Storm, Desert Shield with Schwarzkopf. We annihilated everything, turned it into a glass parking lot in
pretty much,
6 to 9 months.
We went in and bang.
So that's kind of, I think that 3 to 6 month time frame is good.
And I understand there's a logistical concern. I get it's way above my pay grade. I get it. This is just, I'm pulling this figure out. I think that ideally, I know the Army deployment range is a year minimum. But in the Air Force is 6 months, Marine Corps is however long the fleet's going. I get it, I know, I understand. This is a tough call, but I think that I don't think we should be there long term like Iraq. I don't think we should do that. I think we should do surgical strikes. And first of all, I don't think we should do it. Second of all, I just read the other day that the Kurds from northern Iraq did invade, ground invasion over into Iran. So we might be looking at an attempt at a unified Kurdistan for the first time in forever. And which I think it would be a good thing because the Kurds, they've been screwed over for a long time, even by the United States.
By the Russians, the United States, by
Iraq, Iran. Yep. I think that a unified Kurdistan would be a good thing. But look, it's geopolitics. I'm not an expert, but Iran's been invaded by boots on the ground by Arab people. I think if there's going to be an invasion, it should be by a Muslim force. It shouldn't be by an outside force. I don't think we should be boots on the ground regime change.
And since our and Israel's initial attack, they've actually retaliated against Saudi Arabia and other Muslim nations.
Yeah, and other Muslim nations are pissed off and fighting back. Matter of fact, Qatar, I was reading just the other day, the nation of Qatar, where I went on R&R for a couple days, for the first time in its history, shot down 2 Iranian fighter aircraft for the first time in its history.
Yeah, and we did have some blue, I'm going to say blue on green because it wasn't the United States against, it was allied nations against United States planes, but all the pilots ended up being alive and
surviving,
and everything. I say, regardless of time frame or anything else, I say we go back to the mentality of the military World War II and prior. Take the political tape off of it. If you're going to send in Marines and soldiers, let them do their job.
I agree.
Let them free, do their job. I'm not saying commit war crimes.
Oh, God, no.
Let us do our job without the, okay, take this objective, now we're going to allow the enemy to retake. Like, let's go do what we're trained to do and get the hell out of there. That's how I feel.
If you're going to send in ground forces, I agree. If you're going to send in ground forces, take the reins off, let them fucking do what they got to do, and get out.
Yeah,
but, I mean, there's a lot of logistical, like, who's going to be in, I mean, look, I get it. But, interestingly, all across the world, even the United States, especially in LA, which apparently has the largest Iranian population in the United States, they are cheering us, this administration's actions on. It's even on the left-leaning news and the right-leaning news. I mean, they can't hide the Iranian reaction to this because it's been, the Iranian people have been oppressed for so long, and, good. I just think we better not overstep and turn something objectively good into something objectively bad. Because it's a thin line.
And let's not forget that before any of the military strikes, post the nuclear strike, but prior to this, they had the Iranian people were coming out in hundreds of thousands and actually protesting the government, which had never been done on that scale.
Over in Iran? Yeah.
The government was finding ways to hide the fact that they were killing these protesters. Yeah. So there was kind of a powder keg that was set off.
Yeah.
but the people of Iran
regime over there.
Yeah. The people of Iran, the women are taking off their burqas and celebrating, chanting USA.
Yeah.
I think that I don't agree with boots on the grounds unless it's going to be go turn things into parking lots, do your job, get the hell out. Like specifically target focused missions and get our people out of there is, I think, the best way. We should do things moving forward anyway. Whether it be Iran or
whatever
stuff in the future with.
I've also heard reports that we are strategically striking these nations because of their connections with China and the Russian Federation.
This is true. That is a connecting point between Venezuela, which was pretty flawless, if you ask me. I mean, it was
all things militarily.
Was like, whether you agree with us doing that or not, the mission itself was extremely successful and on point.
Yeah,
so that's the way we should be doing things.
And it's a force projection strategy for sure. I talked to one of my children, and he agreed that as far as force projection, we're still rocking it. But the question is, should we make the world afraid of us, or should we make the world respect us? That's the question. And my answer is yes to both. But do you make the world fear you or respect you through fear?
And sometimes it goes hand in hand, right?
Maybe, possibly. Should they respect you economically? Should they respect you militarily? Should they fear you economically, or should they fear you economically? I don't know. And the question is, are we the good guys? Well, are we the good guys in Venezuela? Possibly. Are we the good guys in Iran? Ask the Iranian people.
You know, in war, there really is no good guys. Like, whatever side of the battlefield you're on, the Nazis felt they were the good guys. They believed in what they were fighting for.
But objectively speaking, they were very bad.
And the same thing with the Japanese. Very, nationalistic and believed they were. So it is an aspect of perception, but
you got to be able to stand back and ask yourself objectively, are we doing the right thing? And I guess you have to say, take your emotion out of it, your nationalistic approach out of it, and say, look at all the facts, and say, are we doing the right thing in Iran? And I guess one of the best metrics and best indicators is, what are the people, the citizens of that nation, doing? And right now, they are cheering and celebrating our actions there. And that's a good metric to say that what we're doing is the right thing.
Yeah,
not the government in Iran, because obviously they're not too happy with what we're doing.
Well, my only criticism to that is, where do we draw the line? Do we start invading nation states in Africa? Do we start invading?
Are we the world's police?
And so yes, there has to be some sort of aspect of helping a people, but also what's best for the United States.
It's a good point.
Also, you just can't police the world.
You can't. Well, Megyn Kelly came out, and I think she used to be a Fox News.
Yeah, she's got her own thing now.
Yeah, she came out, and I think her quote was something to the effect of, "We should be looking after the needs of the American people, not the needs of the Israeli people," and this was an Israeli war. And I get it to a degree, but if you look at it from the point of, we are attacking as a strategic point the nation of Iran to also punch via proxy the Russian Federation because we're helping the Ukrainian conflict.
Yeah,
It starts to get into geopolitical things. So there's more layers to it than what we're aware of. But again, where do we draw the line? Are we the world's police? And if so, why? And if not, why not? And then you get into the layers of, what the hell?
Yeah, I think there are certain basic questions that need to be met before you start diving into the political aspect.
I totally agree.
But the one thing I do want, and you and I, even not to the degree of Vietnam veterans, but you and I witnessed this in 0304, coming back, is we need to remind the American people, despite political sides, that troops, soldiers, Marines, sailors, they're following orders. They're doing the best that they can.
Not illegal orders. Those are always off the table.
We need to make sure we're treating these people with respect, because they're going through, even some of these sailors who have to stack up body bags, or whatever the case is, are going through trauma that most civilians can't even comprehend. And if you want to hate on political ideologies, fine. Do that at political events. Go to your state capital, the federal capitals, vote at your local stuff, but do not take it out on especially the enlisted personnel. People, whatever reason they're enlisting, they're trying to better their lives. They believe in something that is American
and bigger than themselves.
So
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. And the idea is, unless they're following an patently illegal order, they're doing it because they believe in something bigger than themselves. Now, if it's a war crime, obviously you hit those people because they're doing something wrong and they know it's wrong.
To the fullest extent of the law. Make an example of every...
Absolutely.
Every single person from the E1 soldier all the way up to the president. If there's actual...
And don't make a scapegoat out of the E1 soldier and let their command get away with it. That's bullshit too.
And that does happen more often than not.
Don't let it... Oh, the private did it, so the private... No. All the way up to the command.
Yeah.
That shit happens, and I hate that because, the little soldier did it, and then the commander gets away with it. No. But if they're following orders and they're lawful orders, don't hate on the soldiers and the Marines and the airmen or whoever's doing it, because they believe in something bigger than themselves. We have to trust that these service members are doing what they believe is the right thing for the right reasons. And, that's why we do it here at Veterans to Veterans Group, is because we believe we're doing the right things for the right reasons for the right people.
Completely agree. I think that's as best down the line as we can be as veterans is what we just said. I mean, at any point we can quote left or right leaning people and whether we agree or disagree, but
And there's good points on both sides of the aisle.
The totality of the situation, I think we kind of thread the needle pretty well on this one.
And we try to thread the needle. And look, you're going to get bias on both sides. You're going to get good points on both sides. That's not our lane. We try to stay out of the extremes on both sides of the aisle. Our mission here at Veterans to Veterans Group is to support our veterans, their families. That's our job. That's our mission. And like I said, and like Chuck agrees with, we try to do the right things for the right reasons. Do we fail? Yeah, sometimes we do. But everybody fails at something sometimes. And then we try to right the ship, correct the course, and keep going.
Well, for example, I have 4 kids. I failed 3 times. Finally got one that's half decent. Eric has 6 kids.
I failed all 6 times.
Well, yeah, there's that. So, but this is
maybe next time around.
A very serious topic. But doing what we do, we try and turn it back around, turn it into something a little lighter, and But I think it's a good place to go ahead and put an end. And thanks for following back up with us.
We're going to try to make this a weekly thing, and maybe more often as we go. So thanks, folks, for joining us. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, you know how to get a hold of us. If you don't, find out.